Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Random Wrestling Talk, episode number 35. Hope your Sunday afternoon slash Sunday evening is going well so far today and you've enjoyed your weekend. We are here live to discuss about some WWE, AEW news and rumors. I did not get a chance to watch SmackDown. I had a couple of things happen here at the old household, so I was unable to go ahead and watch SmackDown. So there won't be a review on that, unfortunately. Um, and I apologize to you guys with some of the lack of content on this channel. I'm trying my best to get things better here with more content for you guys to watch. But Random Wrestling Talk is not being canceled. That's for damn sure. So, let's get into the top story right now, and that is about Hangman Page. As we were discussing on the AEW Dynamite episode for this past Tuesday's episode, Hangman Page was not a work with that injury at the end. It was actually a legitimate injury that he suffered with a concussion with that clothesline by John Moxley. I was very surprised when I heard about this because of the transition they made right into the next segment as if it wasn't a big deal. Um Apparently they were trying to keep everybody's mind off of the situation that happened to Hangman Page and pretty much focus on the show instead of a serious injury. Now, granted, Hangman Page is okay. He's going to be all right. Generally in most cases with concussion protocols, they last maybe about a week, 2 weeks maximum. So we shouldn't see Hangman Page gone for a very long time. This is just a temporary setback for him. Uh, for him to be involved in the Full Gear pay-per-view is very possible. Based on who he could go up against and work with, I'm not quite sure on that situation, though. That is a bit of an issue at this time. I don't know where they could put him at this point on the pay per view. Maybe with a TNT championship opportunity against Wardlow. That would be kind of a good match to watch. Not really a big must see story they could do with that. Um, they could have Hangman Page do something with the Dark Order, put them in a trios match, and possibly maybe make them lose and then have him go heel. That's a possibility they could do. That would be actually an interesting idea, I think. Him finally turning heel and trying something different. His face run, I think, is running out. I think he's getting a little bit stale. And I think at this point, him suffering a huge loss and a concussion, along with pretty much kind of going nowhere with the Dark Order and then losing again in another trios match, I think would be a great way to switch him to heel. And it might actually spice him up a bit and eventually move him into a world championship opportunity somewhere down the line. Um, this could also spark him with a run with the TNT Championship against Wardlow, maybe. That might be a good idea, but I don't know about taking the title off of Wardlow. I think he needs some time with that belt and actually make it into something before he passes it over to Hangman Page. So I think that might be the best idea is wait for Hangman Page to challenge for the TNT Championship later on in the future once Wardlow has had some decent opportunities to defend that title in some memorable matches and actually have a good storyline going into those title defenses that he has at these major pay-per-views. So that's kind of where I'm going with this and what I think they should do at this point. Um, I think he's in a good spot, personally, despite the concussion he sustained during this matchup that took place on Tuesday night. But at the end of the day, I think the heel run is probably his best bet at this time, and it should lead him to something more memorable than what he's been doing lately. Because lately he's kind of lost his momentum with his time with the Dark Order. I think that has held him back as well. I appreciate whoever gave me that like. Thank you very much. Guys, when you come on in, hit the like button. I appreciate it. May not be here on very long. There's really nobody in here at this time. I guess you guys are busy eating dinner or just doing your own thing Sunday night, possibly even watching the football games and wanting to watch me talk about professional wrestling. And I'm not a big enough channel to be doing what a JD does on a Sunday night. So there you go. Anyway, um, that's one of the things that took place this past week. We also have some rumor going around about CM Punk. CM Punk, actually, I do have a story about him specifically about his time with the AEW. Give me a second, I'll pull that up for us so I can discuss that with you. All right, hold on 1 sec. Go to my bookmarks here. CM Punk. So CM Punk's return to AEW is actually doubtful at this time. CM Punk hasn't appeared for All Elite Wrestling since September 4th, headlining All Out as he won his second AEW World Championship from Jon Moxley and subsequently being confronted by a returning MJF. However, it's his involvement in the post show media scrum that's soured many fans' opinions of him. Involved in a scuffle with Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Ace Steel, and several others, CM Punk was suspended from AEW as a direct result and stripped of the AEW championship. He's remained absent since, though he's also nursing an arm injury and is reported to likely be on his way out of the organization altogether. Writing in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer addressed how, despite AEW and Punk holding talks, it was doubtful that he would ever return. Allegedly, these talks are with regard to a potential buyout of his contract, which is actually very interesting. I don't know what the hell that why they would want to buy out his contract except to just get him off of TV and away from their promotion completely. As Meltzer writes, the major issue surrounding the situation is in relation to a non compete clause. Given that only WWE and AEW would be able to pay CM Punk the amount he desires, there would be no need for such a clause if there was no interest from Punk in returning to WWE and vice versa, which is very true. They continue on in this report saying there are those in WWE have been very negative towards him in the past, but it is a wrestling war, and the optics of looking publicly like they have taken Punk from AEW would be very significant. Triple H's whole game right now is about surprise debuts, and Punk would be the biggest possible for him to bring in for Impact. There is a flip side to this, of course, and there's no lock WWE would take him since when Fox pushed them to take him, they didn't. But they likely underestimated how much he'd been to the fan base as his AEW debut showed. One holdup on the buyout is the non-compete, but that's not really a moot point because even with a 6 months non-compete clause, Punk wouldn't be ready to return until the non-compete is over. However, the idea of Punk being released this week and being on WWE television just for appearances before he can wrestle would look like a huge cop for Cope for WWE over the next few weeks, especially with AEW not nearly as hot when it comes to things like ticket selling and streaming. Both AEW and Punk didn't comment nor deny this. Last thing here is Dave Meltzer believes there has been no reaching out from WWE to CM Punk as of this writing though Punk does have some close contacts in the company, including on-screen authority figure Adam Pearce. If he were to return to WWE, it would mark his first official appearance since the 2014 Royal Rumble. All right. So there you go. There you have it. There is a very unlikely chance he will ever return. I highly doubt he is going to show up in WWE at all. I don't think Triple H is going to want to work with him. I don't think CM Punk is going to want to work with Triple H being a creative head executive of the company at this point. He didn't like the direction that the company was going with him when Vince was in office. And he didn't like working with Triple H. He thought Triple H was a self-centered asshole and a prick. Guys like Kevin Owens are very much like CM Punk, and Kevin Owens don't even like CM Punk. He thinks CM Punk's a fucking big mouth dick based on the way he interacted with him on Twitter. So I'll be quite frank with you. I think CM Punk is done with wrestling. He ain't ever going to be able to return. He's burnt his bridges with everybody, and the fans don't like him anymore either. There's still fans. He still has CM Punk fans and followers and so forth. And he could still make an impact within WWE, but at the same time, is he going to be happy? Is he going to, be okay with the creative booking, the people he has to work with, and everything else? This is the major issue with CM Punk. When it comes to on-screen CM Punk character, I like him. I won't deny that. But as a person, he's a very hard person to work with. He's very hard to satisfy. And he's just a lot of times a grouch, which I don't understand why, especially in AEW. AEW has treated him with tons of respect. Tony Khan has adored him since bringing him into the company. So when you really think about it, what did CM Punk have to complain about at that point in his career? He's been given everything he possibly asked for in a creative booking standpoint within the company. Okay, you may have some people that you work with you don't like. It happens. That's the way things are, especially in a wrestling industry and in media. I mean, being a celebrity and a well-known person, you're going to be involved with some people that you're not going to like. I mean, Bret Hart had to deal with it. Shawn Michaels dealt with some people he didn't like, probably. Triple H didn't like certain people. I mean, everybody's got an opinion of someone else that they work with. But at the end of the day, if you're getting the proper booking, you're being treated with lots of respect by the person who owns the company. Why do you have to be upset about anything? This is what I've been stressing about the whole entire time this whole incident took place 2 months ago, or at least a month ago, I should say, because it's not even 2 months yet. But you get my point. It's going on 2 months. But the truth of the matter is, CM Punk really didn't have a lot to complain about. He didn't need to go on a media scrum and end up talking about this situation at all. He had the world title back in his hands. He's being treated with so much respect from Tony Khan. Isn't that enough? I mean, he's the guy running the company. Don't you think you would use Tony Khan as a way of getting these guys to back the fuck off and stop talking so much shit? If that's really what was happening, if Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks were saying a lot of stuff to the wrestling critics about some of the things that were taking place backstage, if it was truthful, then yeah, they have a right to say something. But if it wasn't true and it was a lie, then in reality, that whole situation should have been resolved by Tony Khan and telling them to stop telling the wrestling critics about what is going on behind the scenes that are not true. It wasn't true. Clear up the air with those guys. They are part of your VIPs, your guys that end up taking care of the whole entire roster and dealing with them directly. You don't do shit like that. You don't let it sit. If you're the owner and you're hearing that CM Punk is not liking some of the comments that are being made about him towards the wrestling critics that are not true. If they're not true, then no, they should not be said to wrestling critics. If they are true, well, then Tony Khan should be really, really frustrated with CM Punk and not be pushing him in the direction he should have been pushing him in. That's just my whole feeling on that. Um, but quite frankly, with you guys, I think CM Punk is just a grouch. He just doesn't ever. He's never able to be satisfied. Basically, to make him happy in the setting he's in. You know, you could give him the world. You could give him the world championship, the top tier amount of money, giving him $5 million, which most of those guys are probably not making. I don't think CM Punk. I don't think Tony Khan is giving that kind of money to everybody. I honestly don't. I mean, I don't even think he gave it to Cody Rhodes for that matter. And you had even MJF, who's a young star who's going to be there for a long period of time. And he was even complaining about the income that he was getting from Tony Khan in their new contract they reestablished together. So CM Punk was he really made Tony Khan's money and time worthless by doing this. Matt 87 Eagle says, yo, man, what's up? Uh, but yeah, I mean, that's the problem with CM Punk. If it wasn't for this incident, CM Punk would be a great asset, a well worth money to give away to, because he is an impactful character. I'm not going to deny him of that, but at the same time, as a person, that is where his issue lies. He's not he is just allowing all these little things around him tick him off and make him angry, which is not something he needs to do when he's got the whole world in his hands. Not to, take the line of what Bray Wyatt does with his catchphrase, but you get what I'm saying. And I've harped on this enough. I just wanted to state what I wanted to say about this. I'm not blowing up or complaining about it. I'm just kind of explaining how much of a failed opportunity CM Punk has blown. I don't blame him for back in 2014 with WWE. I think in 2014, he had the right idea. Him and Daniel Bryan headlining the pay-per-view of WrestleMania 30 would have been a great story. Or even Randy Orton versus Daniel Bryan would have been a great story for them to just go one-on-one with each other and have Daniel Bryan win the Royal Rumble. But still, at the end of the day, I think Punk in this situation was 100% wrong in certain aspects. And that's where his problem lies. And, he's got to he's got to face the Pied Piper, I guess, at this point and say goodbye to wrestling and goodbye to an easy income that he could have been making with AEW. Do I see him making it as a commentator? Probably. I could imagine him doing that. He's not bad on the microphone. So yeah, he probably could get involved in some smaller promotion and do commentary and make some money on the side. And I'm sure he saved up a lot of his money anyway. So, he doesn't need wrestling personally. I just think he could have made this even a bigger uh profit and a lot of help to Tony Khan and the promotion itself. Not to mention that CM Punk MJF match would have been great to see again over a world championship at Full Gear instead of John Moxley and um, MJF. But I like the story that MJF is producing with John Moxley at this point is very simplistic and very, effective in what they're doing. Matt 87 Eagle says that Punk isn't a locker room leader. I totally agree with you on that one, Matt. He's just a guy that, like I said, he's just complains too much about such the littlest things. If it was direction with the company was bad, which it was in WWE, I would agree with you on that. But you complaining in AEW and what you had going for yourself, no, I totally disagree with you complaining or being upset about anything. I think that is the biggest mistake he ever did was complain about it. He could just talk to Tony Khan about it, tell him his grievance about it, and let him handle it since he is the boss of the company. But he wanted to take it in his own hands and try to be the guy that does all the talking because he thinks he knows everything. And at the end of the day, it's about showing respect to the guy that is befriending you. I mean, this guy is being friends with his coworkers, the people that he's paying money to help him make money. And I don't hate that idea, but you also got to be very careful in who you're being friends with. If they're showing you respect, they're knowing the boundaries between a coworker and a worker and an owner, and they're being very considerate to you in respect towards him, then yeah, I can understand Tony Khan being a friend to that person. But when you got a guy standing there taking advantage of you, talking shit about your own promotion and talking about your coworkers when this is supposed to be a work show situation with this media scrum crap, he's going over the line. And that is where I would have stepped in as the owner of the company and would have said, fuck this. Um, I'm not doing this. I'm not allowing you to do this kind of shit on my show. Now get the fuck out of here and you can take that title and shove it up your ass. I'll go get a new one. Or better yet, since I spent all that money to have it made, you can get the fuck out and give me the damn title anyway. Rachel Buck says Triple H wants CM Punk in WWE and he is not mad at CM Punk anymore. Really? Give me a link, Rachel Buck. Please give me a link. I'd like to see that because if they want to go ahead and hire such a fucking idiotic guy like freaking CM Punk to come into this company just for a pop, they're idiotic. They don't need CM Punk. He is not necessary to the company. They need younger guys. CM Punk is not necessary to be on this promotion. WWE will have all kinds of fucking problems like AEW did. Fuck CM Punk. I'm sorry. I've been a CM Punk guy for a long time, but after what he did to AEW, he could have fucking made that company collapse. He is a cancer to any locker room because of the way he acts. As a on-screen character, like I said before, he is a great entertainer. But as a person, he's a very hard person to work with. He is very hard to satisfy. So let's get real with ourselves. Rachel Buck, I totally disagree with you. I don't believe any fucking report you just read, whatever it might be. I hope it's not a report and it's just your opinion, because if it is a real report, Triple H is out of his fucking mind if he even thinks about hiring him. Rachel Buck saying, what do you think of Kenny Omega coming to WWE next year? He's not coming to WWE. He's staying in AEW. He's not going to WWE. I'm sorry. It ain't happening. It ain't fucking happening. I'm sorry. You can wish for Kenny Omega to show up in AEW or WWE all you want. It ain't happening. Matt 87 Eagle says, Fox wants Punk, not Triple H and WWE. So Triple H and WWE don't want Punk, but Fox wants him. Well, fuck Fox. I'll be quite frank with you. I think WWE is suffering because of what Fox wants. Fox wants this. Fox wants that. Fox wants this specific superstar. Fox wants that specific superstar. This one can't show up on another person's show. What kind of idiotic crap is this? Are they the creative writers or is WWE the creative writers? The only thing Fox needs to worry about is what WWE is doing for their ratings. If they're producing, gradually moving upwards in the ratings each and every week, or producing something of positive trajectory, then I totally understand that. But they don't have a right to tell the WWE who and what to be on their show. It's their fucking show. You're just paying them to make sure that the rate, and because you think the ratings are going to be good with them being on your channel. That's all there should be. There shouldn't be no ability to tell someone who and what can be on SmackDown or Monday Night Raw. It is the dumbest freaking thing I have ever heard in my life. Oh, Fox wants CM Punk. Well, guess what, Fox? Why don't you go deal with the headache of CM Punk? because CM Punk's a very hard guy to satisfy. He's not easy to deal with. And the proof is right in what has happened in AEW. Hands down, without a shadow of a doubt, he is the biggest fucking issue to even make happy. That's it. Rachel Buck says, do you think Bray Wyatt will face Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes next year at WrestleMania? I'm not sure. He is a very, very interesting choice. He could be the second guy to be challenging for the Universal title while Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble. That might be another option they could go with. And they could have Bray Wyatt facing Roman Reigns for the Universal title and Cody Rhodes facing for the WWE Championship against Roman Reigns and giving them what they're looking for, which is the titles being split up from each other. And that's it. So that could be an interesting choice. I actually like that idea, Rachel. I think Bray Wyatt would be an excellent person to go with. I've also mentioned Seth Rollins with Cody Rhodes. So those are three guys that I believe full-heartedly deserve to be challenging for the World Heavyweight Championships. Just my viewpoint on that. I think they're the three top guys you can build a story around for that. Matt87 Eagle says all Fox cares about is wanting the biggest wrestlers on their channel. Well, like I just said before, Matt, Fox is not WWE. Fox is a channel who required them, paid them, and at that point, they're supposed to have them do their job and provide the best content possible for their channel. If their ratings are not showing that, then Fox has the right to discontinue working with WWE. But they should not be able to have the right to dictate who and what can be on the show. They're not the creative writers. They're not within WWE. They offered them a contract. WWE accepted the contract, and that's all. They shouldn't have any rights to do anything. And the same goes for USA Network. And if you're going to tell me, Matt, that Fox has I'm not saying you are saying that they have the right to do that, but if Fox feels like they have the right to do that, then where is USA Network getting? What are they getting? They're getting the short end of the stick. They should have a right to tell them, hey, we want Roman Reigns on our show too. I mean, at the end of the day, both shows are going to want the biggest names on their show, on their channel, right? So what would be the big deal if we got rid of the brand split and have everyone on every channel? Every channel would benefit. Everybody would be happy. There wouldn't be no splitting hairs and trying to figure out who should be on what show. It's that simple. It's not that hard. It's not that difficult. To me, it's quite frankly the dumbest fucking thing I ever heard in my life. So I honestly feel that the right way to go in doing things is get rid of the brand split and everyone's happy. USA is happy, Fox is happy, and WWE doesn't have to deal with the unnecessary headaches that they're dealing with the whole situation of who can be on what show. It's that simple. So there you go. Idiotic shit, really. It's very idiotic. But hey, that's what business is all about. Idiotic people running bullshit things. All right, let me see here. There's some other news stuff about Becky Lynch, Cody Rhodes. There's some positive things about Cody Rhodes. Becky Lynch, though, on the other hand, is got some serious issues, which we're going to go over in just a second. First thing we'll discuss is Becky Lynch. WWE fans have been waiting for the man to come around since Becky Lynch first teased the return of her popular persona. Unfortunately, an injury forced her to the sidelines from where she has watched Bianca Belair's continued dominance and the emergence of Damage Control as a threat in the women's division. An update on her progress and potential return headlines this collection of rumors, which is also features the latest on MJF's desire to be a babyface and why Shotzi has been teaming with Raquel Rodriguez in pursuit of the WWE Women's Tag Team titles, which did take place on SmackDown. I happen to catch a few glimpses of that, but I was in a laundry room doing my clothes, and I happened to catch a few images of that match, and that was basically it. I didn't really pay attention to it. Um, so let's go into Becky Lynch. Despite the rumors and expectations that the man was ahead of schedule with her shoulder injury and um, may return in September, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select reported, "We were told that the company had yet to follow up with Becky Lynch about a possible return at that point and was never slated for a September return. I honestly believe the return is going to be at the Royal Rumble. I don't think they're going to rush her to television. I don't think there is any need to rush her to television anyway. You got Ronda Rousey with the SmackDown Women's Championship, and you have Becky Lynch out with a surprise return in the Women's Royal Rumble. There is your build right there. You have Becky Lynch tease a little bit for the next few months between who she's going to challenge. She has Bianca Belair, if she's still the champion at that time, and Ronda Rousey. That is going to tease a lot of people to say to themselves, well, she could go either way. She has a story with Bianca Belair. She has a story with Ronda Rousey. This could eventually lead to Ronda Rousey doing something with Becky Lynch leading up to WrestleMania to convince her to challenge Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's title and ultimately change the whole entire course of the booking of Becky Lynch, you know, going towards to Bianca Belair and switching her over to SmackDown so she can go ahead and end the fraud finish that happened at WrestleMania 35 and get our big finale to these two and have not Bianca, Becky Lynch win the SmackDown Women's title, and Bianca Belair can possibly go up against somebody new and fresh, or possibly it could be Bailey being the new Raw Women's Champion. Whichever way they want to go is fine with me. But I think leaving Bianca Belair as the women's champion going into the Royal Rumble and past that might be a smart idea because of the fact that we could have a very intriguing a little story leading up to WrestleMania by, I'd say, about Elimination Chamber. We should have an official word on where she wants to go with challenging for the women's belt. So, yeah, I think that would be a great way of telling a story with Becky Lynch and having her win the Royal Rumble. And I think it would be a lot better than what they did at WrestleMania 35, which was a very forced situation because she was forced into the Royal Rumble by injuring somebody. I think she did something to get into the Royal Rumble. Someone had to get injured. She just was forced into it and all that. I didn't particularly, I thought it was okay for her to win, but her wrestling that same night for the SmackDown Women's Championship against Asuka was a little bit awkward. Not to mention the lead up towards the WrestleMania match with Charlotte Flair being added to it, turning it into a triple threat match. It was supposed to be just Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship, and they wanted to turn it into a title for title situation to make it seem more entertaining, more intriguing, and elevate it to another level, which it didn't need because Charlotte was forced into it. Becky Lynch was technically forced into this whole situation too, based on how they put her into the Royal Rumble. It didn't feel natural. It was very forced in my book. But still, the right person won. Becky Lynch had the right to win that Royal Rumble back in that time. This time she does too. And I think this time she should challenge Ronda Rousey one-on-one. No Charlotte Flair, no third party involved in the match. And we should get a one-on-one match. Simple as that. No questions asked. That's simple. Um, so yeah, that's the way I feel about that. I think that would be probably their best bet. And I think that's the direction they should go in. Um, what else? Uh, that's pretty much all there is to that situation. I think that Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey is the proper build, and I think Becky Lynch should win the Royal Rumble. I know it's a little bit repetitive. I mean, she's already won a Royal Rumble, but Ronda Rousey losing to Becky Lynch would probably help Becky Lynch out and elevate her out of this kind of low end version of herself and get her to be what she was back in 2018, 2019, and make her the Becky Lynch we all loved and cared about. That's what I want to see. The test run that they did, or experiment you want to call it, for her being a heel, I didn't particularly care for it all that much. She was a little over the top, and I don't see her as a good heel at all because she's too liked by the fans. The fans don't particularly want to hate her anyway, so why make her a heel? Just go with the flow of the fans. It's that simple. Make life easier on yourself. Speaking of that, let's go over MJF. There's a situation like that taking place right now. Here's his opinion on him becoming a face. Despite rapidly increasingly popularity, MJF wants nothing to do with being a babyface, according to the report from Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer Radio. Unfortunately for the AEW star, the fans' appreciation and support of him may be a runaway train at this point. The audience appreciates his candor and willingness to let them in, and he tells emotional stories of a young man wanting so badly to succeed in the world of wrestling. No matter how hard he tries to heal it up after, it cannot undo the equity he has forged with the fans. The 26-year-old has put in the work and developed his own persona and is unabashed in his understanding of his value, has only enhanced the appreciation the audience has for him. And it does not appear to be coming to an end anytime soon. As much as his much anticipated championship opportunity against Moxley at Full Gear on November 19 draws near, both fans and the number one contender should expect admiration for the self-proclaimed salt of the earth to grow. MJF is likely to arrive at the Presidential Center in Newark, New Jersey next month as one of the most popular stars on the show, regardless of how much he tries to reverse the trend ahead of the show. So there you go, folks. MJF doesn't want to be a baby face. He wants to stay heel. He plays the heel at a very good he's very efficient as a heel. But the fans love him so much that they can't deny him of the cheers. And that could play a huge factor. Now, you can keep him as a like an Eddie Guerrero type of character if you want. He could get away with that. Eddie Guerrero played a villain for a while, and as time went on, he was very well appreciated, regardless of the fact that his top slogan and his sell of his character was lie, cheat, and steal. He'd cheat and screw people over out of matches at certain points. If he tried to fight you straight up and he was having problems trying to beat you, he'd find ways to cheat to win. And that's what he did. They could do the same thing with MJF here and still have a connection with the fans, but still be that annoying little prick kid with a big ass mouth. That could definitely work. That basically he'd be an anti-hero, essentially. So he could definitely work as a babyface and still keep his character the way it is. He may not like it, but hey, if it works, it works. What the hell are you gonna what are you gonna do? Fight with the fans? That's the dumbest thing you could do. If it works and they like you for who you are, embrace them. If they don't, well, then fuck them. You know, that's the way it should go. MJF can still be MJF. It's just going to be how the crowd's going to react to him. And if the crowd's reacting to him in a positive way, he embraces the fans. He says, the hell with the rules. Do whatever you got to do to win. If you can't win clean, you fight dirty. That's what Eddie Guerrero did. I see MJF in a very similar situation as Eddie Guerrero. Now, Eddie Guerrero just did that for kicks and to be comedic in his matches. MJF doesn't have to do in that kind of sense, but it's pertaining to who he is. He's going to do whatever it takes to win. If he can't beat you clean, he's going to cheat. And that's what I'm getting from this match with him and Jon Moxley going into the pay-per-view. I honestly believe we're going to see MJF try to fight clean. He's going to try to win this match, earn people's respect in the sense that he is a legit guy. He's a guy to take seriously, but he don't give a fuck about the people. He just wants them to say, hey, he's good. He is that good in what he says. He wants to meet what he's talking about. He wants to live up to his words. And I respect that. And I think that's great. And he doesn't have to be a nice guy. He doesn't have to be, be a role model by any means at all. He can do whatever the hell he wants. But if the fans are embracing the character, don't push them away. It's only going to hurt your momentum anyway. Just take it in, do what you want with it, and be who you are. If they're liking you for who you are, then at that point, just be you and embrace the fans and everyone else, whether they're heel, face, whatever. Fuck them up. Cheat. Do whatever. Don't matter. Fans are still going to like you no matter what. So who gives a shit? You can flip this whole entire thing upside down. You could have faces going up against MJF and fans cheering for the heel and being totally off the walls crazy with this shit. So I don't know. I mean, it depends on how you view it. I personally think it could work with him still being himself and being a full-fledged babyface, anti-hero, whatever way you want to call him. I'll call him an anti-hero because let's face facts. His commentary on the microphone is not exactly nice to a lot of the superstars he talks to. And he's a freaking prick most of the time. But he's freaking awesome at what he does. So, at the end of the day, not much you can complain about good old MJF, man. MJF is hitting it on all cylinders. He's doing everything he needs to do to get himself over. 100%. And if he happens to be beloved by the fans, don't push it away. Embrace it and still be yourself. Who cares? You know? All right, so let's go into some other stuff. We're not going to talk about Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi Blackheart. We're going to talk about Cody, and then we're going to close up shop here, and we'll be done for tonight. There hasn't been a whole lot of talk taking place in the chat, just Rachel Buck and Matt 87 Eagle. So if you guys happen to view this video after it's been live, please go ahead and hit that like button. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're brand new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. You're not wasting your time. I am definitely trying my best to find the time to upload more content for you guys to watch, but I'm trying my best to follow at least Raw and AEW Dynamite. SmackDown's a little challenging because I'm kind of busy on Friday nights, but I'm going to try to implement SmackDown into my weekly content videos for this channel. So please bear with me as I try to get things worked out with this channel. All right, so let's talk about Cody Rhodes now. Meltzer also reported that Cody Rhodes is ahead of schedule in his rehab from a torn pectoral muscle, but no timetable has been set for a return. It is good news for WWE that one of its top stars is preparing to make a comeback sooner than expected ahead of the push toward WrestleMania 39, especially considering the fact that Rhodes is likely to play a pivotal role in the company's plans for the Royal Rumble. The American Nightmare was last seen delivering one of the gutsiest performances in recent memory in a discomforting match that saw him work through a badly bruised pectoral area and defeat Seth Rollins inside the Hell in a Cell match. Rhodes 37 will likely be a top tier talent and potentially challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship upon his return. Now, granted, again, we could be looking at him challenging for one title and someone else challenging Roman Reigns for the other. At at a time when Triple H is still fleshing out what he wants to the long-term future of WWE to look like from a creative perspective, having all the pieces at play back and healthy can only be a good thing. So there you go. I honestly think that Bray Wyatt and uh, Cody Rhodes are the best guys to go with if you're trying to split the titles up. If you're trying to give both titles to a challenger, that would be Cody Rhodes, hands down, without question. They're not splitting the titles up. It's that simple. I think Cody should be winning the Royal Rumble. I don't think they need Cody on either shows until the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. He shows up and he wins the Royal Rumble at the end of the day. I mean, you could do this in the middle of the show. You could you could do it at number 27. You could do it at number 15 if you want to give him a long run, make him the Iron Man of the Royal Rumble as well as win the Royal Rumble. That would be a nice combination to throw in there for Cody Rhodes, giving him a stronger look going into WrestleMania against the world champion. I think that would be awesome. I think number 15 would be an awesome place to put Cody Rhodes and have him work all the way through till the end of the Royal Rumble and win the whole damn thing. So make him the Iron Man of the Royal Rumble as well as the winner, and you got a hell of a build-up for Cody Rhodes facing Roman Reigns. Because, I mean, there ain't a whole lot to be convinced that anyone else can beat Roman Reigns outside of Bray Wyatt. That's the only other person. So it's either Bray Wyatt, Cody Rhodes. You can do Seth Rollins too. But there can only be one or two of these guys, and there will be a poor son of a bitch that will be left out, or two people that will be left out that will not be able to challenge for this Universal Championship or world titles, whatever the case may be. But that is pretty much it, guys. That's all I have here for you today. I hope you enjoyed the review. Okay. You enjoyed this live stream of Random Wrestling Talk episode number 35. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. I don't know why you wouldn't. This was actually a rather entertaining conversation I had. I know I haven't had much work, not much communication taking place in the chat like I normally do, but I think this was a good live stream. And again, if you did enjoy this video, go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel, and leave a comment down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. And I thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great night, guys. Bye.